Many people like us, who are learning English, like to use TED Talks. But we have trouble reading TED Talk scripts, due to difficult words and sentences we don't understand. It can end up causing us to lose our motivation. So, I have made the English in the TED Talk simpler. I broke it down into easier sentences, to help you understand better. When you start with these easier sentences, you can get a basic idea of what the talk is about. And if you come across something you don't understand, it sparks your curiosity to learn more. And when you watch the TED Talk, while following these simpler sentences, it'll be much easier to understand the original one. Reading practice. For speaking. Audio will be without repetition, with a brief pause between each chunk or sentence. Read silently or aloud, as if you were telling it to someone else.
When I was 27 years old. I left a very tough job in business consulting. Then, I chose an even harder job. Teaching. I started teaching math to 7th graders in a big city. Like every teacher, I made tests and gave them homework. After they finished, I gave them marks. When I was 27 years old, I left a very challenging job in management consulting. I chose a new job that was even harder. Teaching. I started teaching 7th graders math in the New York City public schools. Like any teacher, I made tests and gave homework. When the students completed their work, I graded it. What surprised me was that being really smart didn't mean you did the best. Some of my best students weren't the smartest. Some really clever kids struggled. This made me think. Math in 7th grade is tricky. But it's not impossible. I believed every student could learn. If they tried hard and never gave up. What caught my attention was that IQ wasn't the only thing. Separating my best and worst students. Some of my top students didn't have incredibly high IQ scores. Some really bright kids weren't doing so well. This got me thinking. 7th grade math is tough concepts. Like ratios, decimals, and parallelogram areas. But they're not impossible. I firmly believed every student could learn if they worked hard and persisted. After teaching a few more years, I learned we need to understand students better. Not just based on how fast they learn. IQ tells us some things. But what if doing good in school and life means more than just learning fast? After teaching for a few more years, I realized we need to understand students. And learning better. Not just through IQ. IQ measures well. But what if doing well in school and life is about more than just learning quickly and easily? So I left teaching and went to learn more about kids and adults. We looked at many different places. To find out who does well and why. We looked at a place where they train future soldiers. Kids who are great at spelling. New teachers in tough neighborhoods. And people who sell things. In all these places, one thing stood out as a clue to being successful. Grit. So I left teaching and went to grad school to become a psychologist. I studied kids and adults in tough situations. Asking. Who succeeds here and why? We looked at West Point Military Academy. The National Spelling Bee. Rookie teachers in challenging neighborhoods. And even salespeople in companies. In all these different places, one thing stood out. As a predictor of success. Grit.